everybody. We're back again to talk some more college football. We are at the end of the regular season. Regular season. College football, shed a tear, wiped a tear. But yeah, college football is nearing the end. We just finished up week 13.
And we finished the regular season on a very interesting note.
We did finish on a very interesting note. So what we're going to do, we're going to recap the winners and losers of week 13, and then we're going to give a little preview, a little who we think the winners and losers will be of championship week.
Saturday.
Championship Saturday. So plus we might have a little dumpster fire in the middle. There's probably a good chance of that. So let's go ahead and jump into who we think, the winners and losers of week 13 is. We had a bunch of games this week because it was Thanksgiving week. We even had a Thursday top 15 ranked game. We had the Egg Bowl. We had the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I like me some deviled eggs. So
without the devil part.
I like some. I like eggs, anyways. But yeah, we had the Egg Bowl. We had Ole Miss at Mississippi State. Ole Miss was
might as well have been the deviled egg bowl for Mississippi State.
Mississippi State was favored. We knew that wasn't going to happen.
They dropped 3 straight touchdown passes.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That was painful.
And Lane Kiffin has give Ole Miss a
10-2 record.
10-win season.
That will be pretty enticing for some other teams that want to creep in.
I mean, would somebody maybe want to hire him as their coach? Maybe. Yeah, we have some interesting things that we can talk about here in a little bit later too. But Ole Miss won by 10. Jumping on into Friday, we had another top 15 game. We had Cincinnati at East Carolina. Won by 22. So 35 to 30.
Cincinnati is one game away from making history.
Cincinnati will make the playoffs as a non-power
5 team. If they win,
they got to win the championship week coming up here, which we'll talk about. But they beat East Carolina pretty good. Those Pirates.
Bearcats are really close. They can almost taste it.
Jumping into Saturday's game, we had Georgia #1 at Georgia Tech, and
somebody called the exterminator on them.
They stomped out some Yellow Jackets, didn't they?
45 to zip, the third shutout on the year.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, they're down to averaging 6 points a game now that they're giving up.
I'm keeping track through like a stat sheet, and it's just freaking ridiculous.
Now, Tennessee scored 2 touchdowns on them and a field goal, 17. The most anybody's done this year, by the way. But Georgia Tech
is not as good as us.
They scored 0 on them. I mean, 45 to nothing. I think Georgia was trying to make a little bit of a statement, too, saying, yes, we are #1. If you're just curious, we're #1 still yet. So they stomped them down pretty good, pretty easily, too. We had our big game of the week. Ohio State
goes to Michigan.
And stunk it up, dude. They couldn't stop the run.
They couldn't stop the run for crap.
If they had 12 people in the box, they couldn't stop the run.
Michigan had 297 yards of total rushing yards.
290, almost 300. They had 300 rushing yards, dude. Might as well say it. They had 300 rushing yards. Man,
and
I mean, just
dude had 5
stiff-arming them down.
Rushing. One dude had 5 touchdowns rushing.
I mean, Michigan didn't just beat Ohio State.
They
beat the crap out of Ohio State.
Ohio State,
everybody, all the announcers out there, Ohio State's the second best team in the country.
Well, Michigan showed.
No, they got the crap beat out of them.
They got ran over by a pickup truck that's named as Hassan Haskins.
42 to 27. Ohio State lost to the. I ain't putting the on it this week. They don't deserve the.
They don't deserve the after that.
No, 42 to 27.
Their defense was pathetic in that game.
And congratulations to Bigger Game
Jim.
He finally won a big game. That's his first win against
Ohio State. And it couldn't be a more satisfying one to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the best record that he's ever got at Michigan.
It is. And give him a contract extension.
And they gave him a contract extension last year, and he rewarded them with an 11-1 season.
That's not too bad.
And now he gets
nobody's been talking about him.
No one's been talking about him, and they play Iowa next week. If they beat Iowa,
they're in the playoffs. Nobody's been talking about them this year, and they might end up being the 2 seed
in the playoff picture.
Might
even win a playoff game this year.
It's very, very possible.
Better than Big Game James, though.
Yeah, we had Texas Tech at #8 Baylor. #8 Baylor needed that win to be in the Big 12 championship game,
which is going to be very interesting.
Very interesting. Now, Baylor won it 27-24. They didn't blow them out, but they got the W. That's all you need. It's just to get the W. We had number 3, Alabama at Auburn. What the living crap was that?
The Bill O'Brien effect. I told you ever since he was hired from the Houston Texans. Remember how
he destroyed the Texas franchise, dude. He destroyed the franchise.
And then you bring him in as offensive coordinator.
How can he be an offensive? What? How many points did they have at the end of the regular? 6? Was it 6 they had?
They had like 3.
9.
They had 3 points before that last bailout talent
drive. They were losing. Now, if Auburn stay in bounds, run another 40 seconds off the clock, and Alabama never does that drive. But the guy went out of bounds, gave him 47 seconds. Alabama went down the field, tied the game. It's going to overtime. And overtime, Alabama pulled the talent card.
Yes. Here's the Uno card.
Here's the Uno. There were Uno Reversi. We got the talent. We're going to win the game. Alabama pulled it out. So won it 24-22 and saved their playoff lives.
At least for 1 week.
At least one more week till they go to Georgia, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But 24-22, that was the first overtime game
in the long history of the revered Iron Bowl.
Alabama and Auburn have never went into overtime. Is that not?
Never.
Is that not freaky?
That's just bizarre.
If somebody tell you, Alabama and Auburn have never went into overtime together, I'd go, nah, I'll bet you $100 they have. I'd have lost my $100 because that's the first overtime game they've ever played. So that was a good, fun, interesting game anyways. We had Oregon State at Oregon.
And the Beavers got ran out of their dam, and the dam blew up.
The Ducks took care of the Beavers. 38.
That can quack their way to the bank in the big Pac-12 title game.
Yes, I think Oregon I think Oregon. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting title game. We got to talk about that here in a little bit too. But Oregon looked pretty good there. We had Penn State at Michigan State. Give him a 10-year contract, and he'll give you a
loss.
L.
Big game.
Big game, James. Lost another big game. They started out so good.
And now they're 7-5.
And now they're 7-5. What were they, 7-1?
They were 5-0. So they went 2-5 in that last stretch.
Finished the season 2-5, and you give the man a 10-year extension on his contract.
For a decade worth of big game James material. The meme will never die.
It will never die. But hey, Michigan State, congratulations to the young coach of Michigan State.
Mel Tucker.
Yeah.
And he's got his Spartans at 10-2.
He do. Number 14, Wisconsin went to Minnesota, win the game, and you're in the Big Ten Championship.
The Gophers had other plans.
Minnesota said, no, you shall no championship game for you.
The Gophers built up a hole and drug that Badger through the hole and stuck it in there.
They took care of them pretty easy. Minnesota knocked Wisconsin out of, they'll still be in a good bowl game, but they are not in the championship game anymore. We had number 15, Texas A&M, go to LSU. LSU needed one game to make the playoffs, and they're playing the number 15 team. You have to make the bowl game.
The final hurrah for the Louisiana man.
That was good. Congratulations for Ed Orgeron getting that 6th win. They did beat A&M and
the bowl of
got them a bowl. 13 out of the 14 SEC teams
have made a bowl game. That's a FBS record.
13 of the 14 teams in the SEC are bowl eligible,
except for one team,
Vanderbilt, which. They're lucky to be in the Power 5 right now, much less in a bowl game.
2-10, they're bad.
2-10, yes. We had number 10, Oklahoma, at number 7, Oklahoma State. Boomer Sooner.
But there was a lot of stuff going on about Oklahoma this week.
Yeah, but Oklahoma lost that. They were that close to being in the title game, and the
Oklahoma
Cowboys
State had the last pistol shot.
The Cowboys ran Lincoln Riley out of town.
They ran him.
The Cowboys ran the man out of town. They beat the man, took the man down, and ran him out of town.
Can I say Star Wars reference?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did Greedo, Oklahoma, get the last shot? Or did Han Solo's Oklahoma State get the last shot?
I think Oklahoma State shot first and killed the man. Ran the man out of town.
Ran them out of town.
Yeah, now Lincoln Riley is no longer at Oklahoma. He is a
USC head coach.
$100 million man out in USC.
You see this guy's contract?
Oh, man.
He's got a private jet, and he's got like 6 houses with that contract.
$6 million free place to live, private
and
jet,
$110 million guaranteed.
A 10-year, $100 million guaranteed contract.
$110 million.
What the flip? I can leave too, probably. We had number 6 Notre Dame at Stanford.
Notre Dame did tap dance Irish style all over the trees.
Yeah, Stanford's not very good this year.
But at a cost.
Yep. Again, their coach left.
Brian Kelly
left Notre Dame. I mean, I thought Brian Kelly was a lifer. I thought he was going to retire as Notre Dame head coach. But no, he said, I've done everything except for
win a championship. And where else to do it but
LSU. Every coach, the last 3 coaches that have went to LSU
have won a championship. Because there's a crap ton of talent in Louisiana.
I mean, the state's like this big, and there's this much talent in it. If he can, and there's no restrictions on the recruiting now. Notre Dame has a lot of restrictions.
LSU, you don't have that.
No, they're going to have that. So he's going to pull in some talent, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Kelly don't pull out a
10-win season.
A 10-win season out of there. It might not be next year. It may only be 7, 8 wins next year.
But a couple of home run hires to start off our free agency.
USC and LSU did hit home runs. Now Oklahoma and Notre Dame are going, whoa, what the? No, they're reeling back from the blow. They just got cold cocked, and they're going,
We gotta scramble to find a head coach now.
Yeah. We had number 13, BYU at USC. Speaking of USC, this is why USC hired Lincoln Riley. They lost to BYU.
And BYU is not a bad team. They're 10-2.
No, BYU will eventually be in the Big 12.
But USC is 4-7. They're not very good.
No, 4-7. They're not going to make a bowl game.
No wonder why they gave Lincoln Riley that massive, gigantic contract.
I think they're tired of losing. So
they brought in a guy who already had an established reputation.
They brought in somebody who was good.
It's really easier to win in the Pac-12 than it is in the SEC.
Yeah. So think about this. Lincoln Riley was with Oklahoma. Oklahoma's about to come into the SEC West, the hardest
division without a doubt.
In college, you're going to play against Alabama, against Auburn, against Texas A&M,
LSU,
against Arkansas,
Auburn,
Mississippi State, Mississippi, Ole Miss, Auburn. Going to play against
Texas
all those teams, and Texas is going to come. Would you rather stay there and fight in that division, or go out to the Pac-12 where there is
not much.
Nobody winning? I mean, Oregon's okay, Utah's okay, but you can instantly go out there and within a year be the best team out there.
Well,
and you can dominate that for probably 10 years. I said, give me $100 million and let me dominate a league for 10 years. I think I'll take that. I don't blame Lincoln Riley for taking that. Get out of the snake's pit of the SEC West. Go out and dominate a conference that's weak right now.
And not the SEC West. It's a gauntlet.
Yeah. Go out there, and the hardest game you play is Oregon. And Oregon's not bad, but Oregon ain't Alabama.
Yeah.
Or
Georgia.
Or Texas A&M, or Florida, or,
We got it.
I mean, the SEC it's a snake pit, man. You're going to get bit. You come in here. So I mean,
didn't want any part of the SEC coming in the future.
No. Now Brian Kelly said, "I want to try. I want my championship. So I'm going to go give it a shot." So congrats for Brian Kelly for jumping in here and giving it a shot, because he's gonna need every. He's gonna take some punches, but the man is a good coach.
The man is a very good coach.
To take Notre Dame with the talent restrictions they have and do what they have,
10 games for consecutive years. He's gonna win a lot of LSU.
He's gonna win a lot of games at LSU. Yeah.
Great hire for the Tigers, man.
Definitely a fantastic.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. I'm gonna miss Ogeron though, man.
Yeah.
I hope he pops up somewhere coaching, because I am
on
gonna miss him.
Defensive staff, maybe.
I will take him if he wants to come out of retirement and come be on the Tennessee coaching staff. It wouldn't bother me a bit. All right, that is our winners and losers for week 13. Now we got to talk about our
dumpster fire
of the week. And it's been a fun week for dumpster fires, man. I tell you, it's been a really fun week for dumpster fires. But here it comes. Check it out.
Dumpster fire of the week.
Yeah. Hey, and our dumpster fire of the week is...
This one came out of the blue.
This one came out of nowhere, man. It's Oklahoma.
The Oklahoma administration.
What a mess they got there now. You got a coach who has took you to the playoffs
consecutive years.
Consecutive years. I mean, he's winning 10.
And he tucks tail and runs.
And he, in the middle of the night, he pulls a Lane Kiffin on you. He got the mattress and went out in the middle of the night and called you the next day and go, hey, I ain't going to come back. Sorry. Bye. Thank you for the memories. I'm going to go to California. Well, is that not, I mean.
That feels like a backstab move.
That was yeah. Oh, let me pull a knife out of my back. Like, he was supposed to be on his coaching show on Sunday.
And then he tucked tail and he bailed.
He never even showed for it.
Yes.
And it was like 2 hours later, he called and said, sorry, man, I ain't coming to the show. I'm actually on my way to California. What, didn't he spend like 10 minutes with the players or something? He spent 2 minutes. That was it. He spent 2 minutes with the players coming there. All right, boys, I'm proud of y'all. Y'all have had a really good season. Bye. I'm gone. Somebody offered me $110 million. $110 million.
Should we just name Lincoln Riley the laugher of the week or something?
Lincoln Riley might be the dumpster fire of the week, man. He pulled a good one. I mean, it's honest. The man wants nothing to do with the SEC. He's like,
it's blatantly obvious.
I am getting out of this puppy while it's still floating. Because we're going to go to the SEC West, and we're going to lose 4 or 5 games a year, and I'm going to get fired anyways. So I'm going to take my money now, and I'm getting crap out of here. And I mean, what a mess.
What a disaster. It's a trash fire dumpster.
That was and it's instant, man. I mean, the dumpster fire was looking good, and then all of a sudden, boof! I mean, a flame came out of that puppy and shot up high enough for the whole country to see.
And Oklahoma fans are irate.
Oh, they are horrible. I mean, the dumpster blew up in their face. They wasn't expecting the dumpster to catch on fire. They thought they had a great looking dumpster. And all of a sudden,
it just exploded.
Boom! That puppy went up in flames. And Oklahoma is still reeling. At this point, they still haven't got a coach picked out. And they were thinking about Stoops. No, he's signing an extension with Kentucky.
They were thinking about Kiffin, possibly.
I mean, Kiffin's a possibility out there. Brett Venables is a possibility out there. Heupel was a possibility, but I don't think he's going to go now. He's sort of talked it up about being at Tennessee. Not unless they offer him $110 million, he might turn and run after $110 million. There's no.
I don't know if Heupel really leaves though.
I don't think he does. No. So I mean, they might reach out and get Oregon's head coach. Man. If they take Oregon's head coach, they're doing Lincoln Riley a favor by taking the best coach out of the Pac-12 as his competition. Then Riley would have an even easier road out in the Pac-12 to win the title probably next year. But yeah, that was just a mess. The Oklahoma is a mess right now, it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
It smells like a burnt boomer schooner. It smells like whenever that wagon they drag out there.
I think the wagon went to some cow poop. And they got cow poop on the wheels. You can smell
That's
it.
That's disgusting. That's gross.
That's pretty good, wasn't it? Okay, let's go ahead and jump into Championship Week. And this is exciting. We got some fantastic games.
It's for all the marbles.
And we do have a Friday championship game.
The Pac-12 is our first representative.
Oregon at Utah.
Yeah, same Utah team that beat the snot out.
We are calling for complete and total chaos. This is our chaos edition of college football. Utah's going to win it. Utah wins the Pac-12. I mean, who would have picked Utah to win the Pac-12?
Because they beat the doors off Oregon when they met earlier.
Utah,
they
beat them by like 17 or something, didn't they?
20 or something.
20, but Utah's only favored by 2.5 now. I'll actually take Utah. Utah wins
the Pac-12.
The Pac-12. We got Baylor at Oklahoma State Saturday morning at noon.
Oklahoma State already beat them once earlier in the year, so does Baylor get revenge?
Baylor's 10-2 and Oklahoma State's 11-1. No, I'm going to take Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State then is your Big 12 champion according to predictions.
We got Utah winning the Pac-12. We got Oklahoma State winning
the Big 12.
The Big 12. Ain't this is opposite world, isn't it?
Isn't it just glorious though to have some differences? Just different teams.
It is weird, man. It is weird. We'll just go ahead and go through all of the games. We're not just going to cover the top 15 because this is championship week. We got Utah State at San Diego State. I think San Diego State wins that one pretty easy and wins the Mountain West.
Yeah, because San Diego State is number 19, and they've only got one loss.
Yeah, Utah State's only lost 3, but
I don't know if they can make
no,
that.
I think San Diego. I think San Diego State beats them by a touchdown plus. We got Appy State at Louisiana.
The Raging Cajuns, the spicy habaneros.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about them in a while.
No,
And they just lost their head coach to the Florida Gators recently.
the
So I wonder
Sun
if he's
Belt
gonna
Conference.
coach.
I bet you Appy State might end up winning this one. It might be a little bit of a letdown because of that happening. So I'm probably going to go ahead and pick Appy State. I mean, Appy State's won it like 50 times. In the
I didn't know Gators liked spicy food.
Yeah, apparently they do. We got the SEC championship games at 4:00. Georgia at Alabama.
The game of the day, probably for the whole playoff picture as a whole.
Georgia wins.
Usually, you don't say that so confidently because in years past,
Georgia has found ways to lose. They will dig up old 50-year-old ways to lose. They'll invent brand new ways to lose. It'll beam down from space. An alien will give them a new way to lose. Georgia finds ways to lose.
but this
they
year,
win
it
this one.
feels different.
It feels different. The Braves won the World Series. The Bulldogs are going to win the SEC. Their defense is just too good. Alabama, I mean, they had
Bill O'Brien.
They had 3 points against Auburn with 48 seconds left. I mean, they scored 3 points against Auburn's defense with 48 seconds left. How many points you think they're going to put up on Georgia? I'm thinking maybe if they get lucky, 13.
Maybe.
I think Georgia puts up 27. I think it's 27-13.
And they cast away their past demons of the past.
Get off me. Get off me.
And by demons, I mean losses, because that's haunted them. And I feel like this year they're trying to cast them away.
I think the Bulldogs win the SEC. How's that for weird, too? We got just a bunch of weird ones. We got the American Athletic Conference, the AAC, which is Houston at Cincinnati. Cincinnati, I think, wins this pretty easily.
Although Houston is ranked.
Houston is ranked, but Cincinnati they're actually pretty good. Now, what Cincinnati hopes doesn't happen
Is that they get upset.
is that opening in Notre Dame looks pretty tempting right now to a
Luke Fickell,
who is the coach of Cincinnati. If Cincinnati loses their coach, I don't think he goes until after this game. But I think Luke Fickell leaves Cincinnati and goes to Notre Dame. And it will
Possibly.
be after this championship. I think it'll be before the bowl playoffs. Because Notre Dame they'll want Fickell in there coaching their bowl game.
Man,
So
that's kind of crazy.
Cincinnati. How's that for Cincinnati's first chance inside the playoffs? And they probably lose their coach before they can play the game. How's that for a smack in the face right there, baby? It would surprise me if Luke Fickell hangs on through the playoffs.
But that would show loyalty, though.
They'll lose the first game anyways. I mean, Cincinnati's good, but they're not Power 5 good. I don't think they are. If they end up playing Michigan or Georgia, which is one of the two they end up playing,
I don't think they would last.
I think they get beat by double digits, and Fickell might even get out before that happens, because you know it's going to happen. So that's going to be interesting to see. More of the coaching carousel going around here. We got Michigan at Iowa.
Big Ten representative, big game.
Even bigger game.
Jim.
I think
Could he get it done?
I think he gets it done.
Michigan to the playoff.
Michigan wins the Big Ten.
What Michigan fans have wanted him to do for years.
I think we've got Georgia in the playoffs. I think we got Michigan in the playoffs. I think we got Cincinnati in the playoffs, and I think we got
Oklahoma State. That's our four.
That's our four right there.
That's an interesting one, ain't it?
Would you not kill to see Georgia play Oklahoma State? Would that not be a fantastic? I mean, think of the high-scoring Big 12 against the zero-scoring defense of Georgia. But I would love to see that game. That was just fantastic. But I think that's what our matchup's going to be. Last, we got Pitt at Wake Forest.
It's a big game, but it's not a humongous one.
I think Pitt wins the ACC. How
You
about
wanna
that?
take Pitt?
I'm going to take Pitt to win the ACC. This is the upside-down world, man. Pitt went into the ACC and said, all right, we'll just go ahead and win it while we're here. I mean, Pitt's turned out to be a pretty good team this year.
We lost to them earlier in the year at home, so...
Yeah, I think Pitt's a pretty good team. So Pitt wins the ACC. How about that? Pitt wins the ACC. Michigan wins the Big Ten. Georgia wins the SEC.
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State wins the Big 12. Utah wins
the Pac-12.
The Pac-12. How insane is that?
It's a bizarre world, and I love every minute.
I love every minute of it too. That is fantastic. But that is football for the end of the season. Going into the championship games. Well, whenever we finish the championship games, we'll cover those, and then we'll go over
the bowls.
The bowls. We got some yummy bowl games coming up. I am looking forward to some bowl games. See where all the teams end up going. But I hope you liked it with this. Hit the like button, the subscribe button.
Groovy baby.
Leave some comments. Hit the groovy baby button. Other than that, we are gone. See you next week.
See you next week.